Rocket jumping. Probably the best movement mechanic in my opinion, and a few of you guys have suggested that I add something similar to my game. So, I'm making a multiplayer gun building game, but I haven't actually shown you how you're going to do the gun building part. Well, you're about to find out. Devlog 4. Before we create any new systems, I need to clean up a few things. Firstly, I updated my script to shoot multiple pellets, so now my shotgun barrel actually works. I also coded burst fire into the script, which will be used for a future part that I'll be showing soon.
Who's that Pokemon?
Next, I added recoil. Nope, no, not that recoil. I added the recoil that separates the pros from the noobs. So now equipping different stocks and handles actually reduces the recoil. So before I even started this project, I knew I wanted to create a system that allowed players to change their weapon parts in the middle of battle. And I wanted it to be a mechanic that players could get really fast at. So I came up with a completely unique design for switching parts. Behold, the part wheel. Actually, on second thought, CSGO used the gun wheel, GTA 5 used the gun wheel, Far Cry used the weapon wheel. Anyway, this actually didn't take too long to create, since I already had a system for weapon slots and it was all client-side code. Half the work was actually just making the icons for the parts. Next, I coded the stats to show on the side, and yeah, this took some time. Mainly because I wanted to show the difference in the stats if the selected part was equipped, and because parts take up multiple slots, I had to store the data of the original build and then rebuild the gun in the same frame with the new part and then store and show those. I feel like I overcomplicated this. If only there was a platform for learning problem solving. Brilliant is the sponsor of this video, which is a learning platform that does things a little different. Have you ever started a tutorial and have no clue what they're talking about? Well, I don't know what you're talking about because Brilliant teaches from the ground up. You ever feel like information is just going in one ear and out the other? Well, Brilliant has a hands-on interactive approach, which has proven to be 6 times more effective. Everything in life contains problems, especially coding, so Brilliant helps build your critical thinking through problem solving. Now, I bet you're thinking, I ain't got time for this, but I bet you're also going to scroll on your phone later. Well, Brilliant helps you build real knowledge in only a few minutes a day. Brilliant has a lot of content. Data analysis, math, AI, and the one you and I can't get enough of, coding. It teaches loops, variables, conditions, and more through interactive learning. It also teaches how to think like a programmer, which is the source of every programmer's power. Get everything Brilliant has to offer for 30 days free by visiting this link. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Big thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Anyway, I took a break from coding and made another gun part, the burst chamber. Here's what it looks like in game. I don't know why, but I think it's the best looking chamber. The next gun part I made was the knockback barrel, which does what the name suggests, and even Google says it makes for some really cool plays. This was actually suggested by one of my Discord members, so if you have any cool ideas, leave a comment, or even better, join my Discord. And I mean, you're already clicking on links, so you may as well go and wishlist my game on Steam as well. Now, initially I coded the knockback effect to the gunfire, but then I realized this isn't gonna work well with high fire rate weapons, and it's also gonna be hard for me to add more part abilities in the future. And on top of that, the particle effect just looks bad. So I improved the particle effect and then coded a new system for part abilities. Now any gun part could have an ability with a cooldown, and I'll be able to easily add more abilities in the future with this system. Now this scene was originally just going to be for testing, but I think a practice range could be really cool to add to the game, and I want to try and make the map purely in Blender instead of using the Unity terrain tool. My idea was to make it a practice range on top of a building in the sky. Also, yeah, this makes the background really easy to create. So first I modeled the main building, and I say modeled, but most of the work was just UV unwrapping so the texture fit the mesh correctly. I then made the actual rooftop, along with an exit building, an AC unit, and some random boxes so players can practice their rocket jumping, or I guess I should say knockback jumping. Now the only problem with this version of the map is it felt kind of perfect and a little too sci-fi. So after a bit of googling, I decided to make the buildings more square, and I added a bit more detail this time. Lastly, I created some grit and grime textures and overlaid it on the map with decals and a custom shader. Now for the background. I added some background buildings which are definitely not just cubes. Then I added this fog plane shader that I got from this guy's tutorial, so check him out. And finally I just put some clouds on top of the fog with a particle system. Oh man, there was one more mechanic I added. You know, the ADHD mechanic, the mechanic that pros use to look cool. Ah, I remember now. Weapon Inspect. I kind of hid the Weapon Inspect behind the gun wheel state, so you right click to close the gun wheel and then inspect the gun. Most of the core mechanics of the game are done now, so I guess the next devlog will be making a game map, more gun parts, and probably a new map. So, hit subscribe, wish this my game, and thanks for watching.